What's up, party people? This is Maine's World, and it is party time. The newest and realest sports podcast on the planet, giving the truth to you straight. Why? Because you can't control me. I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm your host. I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, party people? Welcome back to another edition of Maine's World. I appreciate you guys stopping by the website, dropping your questions, but I got some questions not related to sports, but I'll give you some answers. So I got a question about what's this green thing in the back? Well, this green thing in the back is a Vietnam era stretcher. My wife got me that probably 15 years ago at a Army surplus store. Probably still got some Vietnam blood on it. It was a nice addition to my office memorabilia. I didn't have an office back then, but I got one now. Some awards and decorations in the background, retirement awards, some gifts that I got previous duty stations from people I worked with. So just to answer those few questions. Another weird question I kept getting was, am I wearing pants? And I'm like, of course I'm wearing pants. Why wouldn't I be wearing pants? But I'm on vacation and I'm in my house, so I don't have to wear pants if I don't want to, but I am wearing pants. Am I going to stand up and prove it? No. Why? You should know by now, because you can't control me. Can't control me. I've been saying that. But we did get some sports related questions, so I'll get right to those right now. Hope we have a fun day today. So our first question comes in from Anna in the Bronx. How do you feel about the Chicago Bears' big victory over the Houston Texans? Well, Anna, I feel super excited about the victory over the Texans. It was a game I thought we were supposed to win, although the pundits didn't. But as a Bears fan, I, think we were going to win a lot of games. We should win more games. But I was very pleased with the way the Bears played on Sunday. I was very pleased with David Montgomery finally showing us that breakaway speed that we all knew he had. I was pleased with the use of Cole Kmet. During the game, it looked like he was used a lot more, but I think he only ended up with 4 catches, but he felt like he was much more involved in the offense. And I was happy for Mitch Trubisky, and I'm glad he played very well. He played very well. I was happy for him. Kid seems like a good kid. I don't think he's going to be in Chicago next year, but he'll go somewhere and excel, probably. Maybe not. But overall, it was a good performance. The defense stepped up, played like we all thought they should have been playing all year. But we got to remember that the Texans already had 8 losses before they came into that game. Fired their head coach, interim head coach, a capable interim head coach, but interim head coach nonetheless. So it was a game I felt like the Bears were supposed to win. But in the fashion they won, it made me very, very happy. But, I got to talk about the concerns that I had. I still had some concerns about number 39, Eddie Jackson. It just seems to be constantly out of position. He dropped a wide open interception, and he doesn't have any interceptions this year thus far. I just thought that was pretty weird. He's the ball hawk on our team with 0 picks. Another concern I had was number 94, Robert Quinn. I'll call him the honest thief because he's stealing from us, in my opinion. But he was the butt of a lot of jokes this weekend. I saw the meme with him getting pushed down by the tight end, which I think is illegal. A bunch of my buddies, sports enthusiasts like myself, say it wasn't illegal. It should be, even if it should be illegal for him. He had 1 sack, which he got in game 1, so it's no need to blindside, block, and knock Robert Quinn over because he's not going to get your quarterback anyway. And once again, number 72, Charles Leno, another honest thief, getting paid to usher people to our quarterback. He didn't play particularly bad based on what the rest of the offense was doing. so it kind of took a light off of his shortcomings. But he had a big penalty still, missed a lot of blocks, was on the ground quite a bit. So those are still concerns I have. I have another concern that the Bears were up had a double digit lead in the second half. We still only scored third quarter points, 6 second half points. And we only had like 10 carries in the second half when we're up 20 points. I don't get that. But Matt Nagy said we finally found our identity in week 14, which is awesome, I suppose. But 14 touches for Montgomery. We got to get better than that. More touches for Cole Kmet. Got to get better than that. I'm still wondering why Riley Ridley is not on the field. That question has to be answered at some point. And we got to get more snaps for Nichols and Urban, those defensive linemen that come in. It seems like every time they get on the field, they seem to make a play. Going back to your original question, yes, I was super excited about the Chicago Bears victory over the Houston Texans, and hopefully we can continue that trend. And when I say we, I mean the Bears. You should know that by now. Hopefully we can continue that trend in the coming weeks. Because Sundays are always better with a Bears win. All right, our next question comes in from Julius in Junction City. What was the best fight you saw this past weekend? All right, great question, Julius, because there was a lot of great fights this weekend. Great weekend if you were a combat sports fan. But the best fight I saw this weekend, I would have to go with UFC 256's main event, Figueiredo versus Moreno. It ended up in a majority draw, but it was a all-out war for 25 minutes. I mean, striking, grappling, mixed martial arts as a whole. It was a very entertaining fight. Both men went toe-to-toe for 25 minutes. So if you like action, that was the fight of the weekend. And even more compelling, the majority draw. So we'll get to see that fight again sometime in the future. So if you're a mixed martial arts fan, that was the fight to see. If you didn't see it, you missed a great one. But another fight that was compelling this weekend was Anthony Joshua, the heavyweight champion, multiple belts, over Pulev, his contender. But not so much the victory, not so much Joshua's victory was the way he won. He commanded the ring, straight, long jabs over and over, showing power through Pulev's guard and striking with vicious, vicious uppercuts. He ended the fight in the 9th round with an uppercut. I think Anthony Joshua probably landed 9 uppercuts, all vicious. So he really took a step in showing the world that he may be boxing's true heavyweight. But what makes it so compelling is that the way he performed, we already were going to have the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight, but when you saw Anthony Joshua's performance and the subsequent but the subsequent after ring interview, that's what was being talked about. So we have another fight to look forward to. But there was a lot of mixed martial arts. They had started on Friday night some bare knuckle boxing, which is brutal. Icon Fight Federation. Actually, Frank Mir's daughter, who is 17, had her first professional fight. She ended that fight with a rear naked choke in the first round. There was Glory, kickboxing, Fury Fight Club 43, Top Rank Boxing this weekend. Shakur Stevenson fought Toka Khan. It was a one-sided victory. Shakur Stevenson won every round convincingly. It was crazy, but you kind of see that sometime at Top Rank Boxing. We had Premier Boxing Fighting Championships this weekend. So it was a big weekend if you were a fight fan. But best fight was the UFC 256 main event, but the most compelling fight and best performance by a fighter was Anthony Joshua in his title defense. So hopefully we have some good fights coming up. I know Canelo Alvarez is fighting Caleb Smith this weekend. I think Triple G's fighting somebody. So looking up for boxing. All right, our next question comes in from Alan in Baltimore. What do you think of ESPN's NBA Top 100 list? Well, Alan, like everyone else, I had a problem with ESPN's list. The worldwide leader in sports, with all these people working round the clock, should have put out a much better quality product. Yes, LeBron James at number one, Anthony Davis at number two. I don't have a big problem with that. LeBron James is the best player in the world, but having Luka so high at number four, thought I had a problem with that. I had a problem with Nikola Jokic being 10, and I even had a problem with Dame Lillard being so high. Everyone else in the top 10 has an MVP. I think the only other player out of the three I mentioned that have a chance to win an MVP in the future is Luka. But after 1 year after last year's success, I don't think that he should be so high on the list. I don't have a problem with Kevin Durant being as high as he was. I had a problem with like the Miami Heat had like four players in the top 100. I don't think a couple of the players they had on the top 100 list even start. They had a very, very good postseason last year, but I just don't believe that those players are top 100 NBA players. I had a problem with Zion Williamson being so high. Well, not being so high. Zion Williamson at number 19, I think he played probably 19 games. The problem that I have with him being 19 is Ja Morant is 31. Ja Morant, primary ball handler. He's going to have way more impact on the game than Zion Williamson. I just didn't understand the logic in that. Russell Westbrook being so low, I had a problem with that. Russell Westbrook is still going to be in the MVP conversation, especially since he went to Washington. Him and Bradley Beal in the East are going to have much, much, much better success. John Wall didn't play. That's why the Wizards didn't have the success that they should have had, because John Wall was missing the best availability. So there's a lot of problems with the list. I think I'm going to come up with a top 20, 25 list. I think having a 100 player list from writers is not really conducive. I think it's just conducive to having sports conversations and not an accurate picture of the NBA. So, like everyone else, Alan, I had a big problem with that ESPN 100 list. Come on, worldwide leader in sports. You got to do better than that. All right, our final question comes in from Akeem in Queens, New York. What did you think of the professional football contest between the Ravens of Baltimore and the Browns of Cleveland? All right, Akeem, great question. You claiming Queens, New York now. I thought you were a citizen of Zamunda. But all right, man. The Ravens-Browns game on Monday Night Football was an instant classic. It started off like it was going to be a shootout, and it did not disappoint. Quite a few, all of the elements of a great football game were included in that game. Quite a few wide receiver drops, but it was quite a few big time throws and big time catches. Drops on both teams. It was pretty weird. But the Ravens running game was insane. Lamar Jackson ended up with a Monday Night Football rushing record for QB, 124 yards, I believe he ended up with. Baker Mayfield actually played very well. His completion percentage didn't really tell that story, but a lot of it had to do with a lot of throwaways and wide receiver drops that he had. He had quite a few throwaways in that game, but that interception in the third proved to be a big time play and a big time interception. Ended up in 7 points for the Ravens, but scoring on the last drive in the first half and scoring on the first drive in the second half for the Ravens, that separation, I really thought the Ravens were going to run away with it, but the Browns held true, stayed with what was working, and made it all the way to the end. The big, the big thing was Lamar Jackson pulling the Willis Reed, coming out, with that final drive to get him in field goal range to win the game was awesome. I know that there's a lot of reports, poop stories about Lamar Jackson that had to poop and blah 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 blah, but I think that takes away from the greatness of this game. The weird thing I saw in the game was when McSorley came in the game, they were running plays like that was Lamar Jackson. They were running read options. I mean, he's running all over the field. Well, not all over the field, running about 4 yards and sliding. That's what he was doing because he was going to get killed out there. But they were running plays like McSorley's Lamar. No. But it was great to see Lamar Jackson come out there and get a signature win. And Justin Tucker, best kicker in football right now. I think they said he was the most accurate kicker all time right now at like 90.6%. So good job for him. But we should have known if it was going to come down to field goal kicking, which ultimately it did. Cody Parkey's not going to be the answer. So as I said, this game had all the elements, all the drama, and then even had a bad beat at the end. I think the line was 3.5 points, and that final safety for no reason ended up making the Ravens win by 5. I read a little clip in a paper, on the internet, that was a swing of millions of dollars in the betting game. So, like I said, that was an instant classic, Hakeem. Probably the best. One of the top 5 games of the year. Definitely the best Monday night game this year thus far. So, Ravens-Browns did not disappoint. All right, party people, that's our show for today. Appreciate you being here. Hit us up at mainsworldpodcast.com to drop your questions. We're also available on YouTube. Please hit like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm out. Why? Because you can't control me.